understand the context of Jefferson's letter to the Danbury Baptist Association, I believe it was January the 1st, 1802, one must first understand the fear the Baptist Association had concerning their rights as stated in their declaration. Before July the 4th, 1776, all forms of government had the power to govern the people. In the Roman Empire, those powers to govern were with the Pope and his hierarchy in the Roman Catholic Church. Canon law was a result of those powers. When the King of England separated from the Catholic hierarchy, he and his courts declared their independence and became the entity with the power to govern the people of England. He combined his laws with the canon law of the Roman Catholic Church. This combination, known as the common law of England, was the law our founders were under prior to July 4th, 1776. The Supreme Court in Munn versus Illinois, 1877, said the substance of this power has always existed in all civilized governments. They summed up the substance of these powers this way. They said, quote, "Under these powers, the government regulates the conduct of its citizens, one towards another, and the manner in which each shall use his own property when such regulation becomes necessary for the public good." I believe as we think about these declarations, I think we ought to bear in mind that King John, on June the 15th, 1215, in the Magna Carta, had basically gone against the usurpation and the sovereignty of the king by saying that we all have certain rights. For example, Martin Luther, who began a movement that became known as the Protestant movement, Martin Luther, a Roman Catholic priest, made this statement, and it concerns his individual thinking about the relationship of man to the church. And Martin Luther made this statement: "I say then, neither pope, nor bishop, nor any man whatever has the right of making one syllable binding on a Christian man, unless it be done with his own consent. Whatever is done otherwise is done in the spirit of liberty. I cry aloud on behalf of liberty and conscience, and I proclaim with confidence that no kind of law can with any justice be the level of government in those state churches that dictate conduct to the members of the local churches or create laws which penalizes that restricts each member's God-given rights to make decisions according to their conscience and exercise those decisions without fear of government penalties." I believe we could sum it up, or at least analyze it from this perspective. Affirmation again has been given to the idea of the autonomy of the individual, and even in our day, the autonomy of the local church in its assembly to make its own regulations and decisions. Now, obviously, we, in the name of religion, I believe it was a case known as Reynolds versus United States, we cannot make laws that hurt people. You couldn't have a law in the name of religion that gives you the right to go out and do physical harm to somebody, nor can you violate social policy. For example, we've had cases where there was snake handling or practices that obviously common sense would say could injure the health, the safety, and the welfare of those meeting in such assemblies. So there are those restrictions. I mean, you couldn't go out and, in the name of religion, attempt to shoot somebody or slander somebody or do malicious harm to people and do it in the name of your religion. But your religion, your concept of religion, I should say, your basic understanding of what you believe, that's between you and God. No one has the right to tell you that you are against the state or that the state prohibits your freedom of expression. Every church has the right to its own doctrine. That is the right of that church. That's what we mean by separation of church and state. So when government tries to mandate and say, well, we're going to impose upon you and we're going to tell you that you can't speak out against things that the church condemns, that's not right. That's not biblically sound, nor is it politically right. For example, a church has the right to express itself in regards to transgender transformation or LGBTQ agendas, or the church has the right to speak out as to its interpretation of the infallibility of the Scriptures, the inerrancy of the Scriptures. And so in whatever capacity, the church is an entity, an autonomous body that makes its own rules. They can meet when they want to meet. No government can say, well, you can't meet today, or you can't meet at night, or you can't meet under these conditions. That's why when the pandemic hit, I believe that many governors, many mayors, they assumed too much power. They tried to tell churches that you can't even sing in your own homes, can't meet in your own homes. That is unconstitutional and a violation of the true meaning of church and state. We'll be back.